challenger to the likes of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And I know Dylan White in studio, Tony Bellew at home will be watching ever so closely because they want a shot at Parker.
Yeah, what a great division we've got right now, not only in this country but on the world scene. And I know Joseph Parker wants to mix it with these guys, so nothing but a formality will do. I mean, he needs, like I said earlier, an emphatic win here, a big KO. But the first thing I notice here is the size difference. Cojanu, a lot bigger, though he's not in fantastic shape. The size of the guy.
Didn't take Cojanu long to answer the call. At about 15 days' notice, he says, is that all you've got to Parker? Dominic Breazeale wanted to fly over. Wilder made a lot of noise. Everybody wants the big fights in this heavyweight division. The sparkling diamond on those black trunks of Joe Parker from Samoa and New Zealand. How good is he? The body shot. And an applause. He's a real character, isn't he, Cojanu?
He is. Great personality. Doesn't look phased at all by Parker. I know they've shared rounds of sparring, but he looks confident. And there's a lot to like about Parker. You know, he has quick hands. He's well scored. He's good footwork. Obviously, he can punch. He's a massive puncher. And there are a few things not to like. I mean, he does carry a loose guard. Sometimes his chin comes up in the air. But what makes him so exciting is the power he possesses with both hands. You see the quick hands there, it's lovely work.
That speedy combination, he will want to make a statement here after the Joshua Klitschko barn burner at Wembley. Even though he knows he is expected to deal with Cojanu. The pressure on those shoulders. 66 amateur fights, 22 professional ones.
Break, step back, step back.
Much quicker than Cojanu already. Hands down. Hoping to spring one, big right hand maybe. New Zealand, the 25-year-old, in the first defence of his WBO heavyweight title. He beat Andy Ruiz Jr. in a close one, wasn't it, over the distance?
It was a close one, wasn't much in it at all. Some could say, you know, Joseph Parker would have learned a lot from that fight. Ruiz was tough, he was game, didn't really carry much of a punch, he didn't have much to worry about. Close nonetheless. Surprised at how sort of unfazed and at ease Cojanu is here. Sort of holding the centre of the ring, flicking out a slow jab. He's not really concerned with much that's coming back.
That doesn't look bothered at all, does he? But he does look slow, Cojanu, who's won his last 3, but was starched in a couple of rounds by Donovan Dennis in Pennsylvania. So Parker will know if he can connect on the chin. This isn't sparring, the smaller gloves. He's just trying to show Parker, Cojanu, that he's not overawed one little bit. And he's been in camp twice with him. He says he knows exactly what styles Parker possesses. He's not worried.
No, not at all. I mean, through them camps, he'll think that he'll have a way of beating him. You know, he'll think or know of a way to find openings and try and upset, frustrate Parker, get him into the later rounds. He is a huge guy, bigger than Parker, but he's just a lot slower.
Body shots could be the answer, especially early on for Parker. And we saw Cojanu when we went out to the Big Bear Mountains, where he was sparring with Charles Martin before Martin attempted to keep his heavyweight title. Of course, we all know what happened. Anthony Joshua blew him away, but Cojanu, to us in sparring, looked fairly easy to hit. So it's all lined up for Parker, but the late notice opponent, and somebody he knows well, and somebody that's play acting here. Right hand from Parker, dominating the first couple, of course, but at the moment Cojanu standing fairly strong.
Yeah, Parker's landed some okay shots, some decent shots, more glancing blows, but Kojanu's taken them well, and I think definitely the midsection of Cojanu is where Parker's got to start getting to work.
Yeah, he's sparring fit. How fight fit is he though, Cojanu? The Vodafone Event Centre in Auckland, packed for Joseph Parker. Might be his last fight here in New Zealand, in the black trunks and the big red of the big man from Romania, Razvan Cojanu. He's got a 29-pound advantage in there. And Kevin Barry was saying in between rounds, I don't want him leaning on you, zapping your energy. So he's got to be in and out like this, Parker, hasn't he?
He has. Footwork could be key here as well. I mean, Cojanu almost teasing Parker, screaming, putting his hands out, really trying to unsettle Parker, and Parker's really got to stay switched on here, and there's huge amounts of pressure on him with what went on last weekend, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If he puts in a good performance here, you know, he's in his hometown, he's got to look good here, so there's a lot of pressure.
Absolutely, the heavyweight world is rocking. Millions to be made if you get those big fights. Anthony Joshua becoming a real superstar, not just in Britain but around the world, with HBO and Showtime's coverage. Deontay Wilder, the unbeaten WBC champion. You have Luis Ortiz, Kubrat Pulev, Tony Bellew, of course, David Haye, if he can get back from the injury, Dylan White, even Derek Chisora still going. He's got that fight against Hellenius. It is a mouth-watering time. Really good fights to be made, and Parker wants to be in that mix.
He has the title. I mean, you talk about this potentially being his last fight in New Zealand, well, it has to be. Bit of dirty work from Parker there, leaning on with his forearm. Cojanu didn't like that.
Knock it off next time, we'll take a point.
Next time it would be a point, says Mike Ortega.
It could be interesting, this. If Parker gets frustrated so early on, it could work in the favour of Cojanu. I mean, he's not doing enough at the minute. We're still early on, but if he can frustrate Parker, it could get interesting.
There's the speed. The size difference, like Holyfield bow or Hyde bow. But that's a different heavyweight level. Parker still, although he's a WBO champion, fairly novice at 25. And as for Razvan Cojanu, many believe it's a really not just unexpected chance as a heavyweight challenger for a world title, but an undeserved one. But he's come in, that's not his fault. And he'll be gaining confidence as these rounds go by. Used by his father, Dempsey Parker, named after the heavyweight legend Jack Dempsey. But Razvan Cojanu had over 300 amateur bouts and also qualified for Beijing in the Olympics. So he knows his way around the ring, and especially with all the sparring he's gained in the last 2 or 3 years. Different under the lights, of course, and the speed and versatility of Joseph Parker. Is this the time where he steps it up and tries to get the big fella done?
Hats off to Cojanu though, he took some shots there. Parker landed a couple of big right hands, left hooks. Cojanu soaked him up. Again, I think he needs to drop to the body a bit more, Parker. Crowd
getting behind their hero. 1 point off.
1 point. Okay.
Round the back of the head.
Time in. Watch. Stay off his
For
neck.
Cojanu. Is that the leaning, smothering tactics that I'm sure that his team would have wanted him to adopt if he can, trying to drain Parker.
And maybe the team, the Parker team, have told the ref to beware of that. Cupping him around the back of the neck.
And Parker was warned as well, though. Body shot from Cojanu. Lumbersome and slow. If you compare what we saw last weekend with Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko, it's like watching slow motion, isn't it, with Cojanu?
It really is. Took a good left hook there. Parker has got the speed of hand, the speed of foot. I think that would start to show soonish. A good right hand there by Parker. Starting to land a bit more freely now.
Took out Carly Meehan in 3, Alexander Dimitrenko in that same round. Distance with Andy Ruiz and Carlos Takam, who gave him a real examination. Good fight, that. And Parker had to answer a couple of questions in the middle of it. This is good from Joseph Parker. But again, Cojanu smiles through the gum shield, the Romanian colours. When asked beforehand if he was doing it for his country, he said, no, I'm doing it for my family, for my kids. Talking to Parker in there. Yes, and he's enjoying his challenge. Does he really believe he can win it, Darren?
Well, he's just not doing enough to win the rounds at the minute. He's not throwing enough. You may believe he's got a chance, but you've got to transfer that in the ring and start letting your hands go. But lots of mind games going in there. Lots of talking to Parker throughout.
Nice right hand, though. Only partially blocked by Cojanu. Straight a little low, but Joseph Parker unbeaten. Razvan Cojanu isn't. He's lost a couple of times. Donovan Dennis, and on his debut to Alvaro Morales. Really learnt on the road, though. Now lives in Burbank, California. Proud of the Romanian heritage, of course, just as Joseph Parker is his Samoan and New Zealand roots. It's David Tua, a great heavyweight under Kevin Barry from these parts. 12 rounds with Lennox Lewis, of course. Never quite Mike Tyson, was he? You sort of wondered at one point.
You can see the similarities, the black shorts, the physique, if you like.
Not as quick or as devastating or as talented as Tyson. Nowhere near.
But it was exciting in his own way. I mean, there's only ever going to be one Mike Tyson, my favourite all-time fighter. I mean, amazing. But just watching this one, Cojanu, I'm just thinking he's almost guilty of becoming a sparring partner, too long.
Tyson, who is talking up AJ this week, and how exciting and how much he enjoyed that fight. He believes it's a new era in heavyweight boxing, and we remember those famous lines when he stunned Trevor Berbick and became the youngest ever world heavyweight champion back in the 80s. And with the American commentary saying, we have a new era in boxing, and Mike Tyson gave us that. Holyfield, Lewis, Bowe, great times, and great times are upon us again. Beating him to the punch, but that's better from Cojanu, just getting through with the right hand, and he's still sticking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's showing more intent now. What I was saying before, when you become a sparring partner, sometimes you can transfer that into the ring.
But if he opens up, he'll leave more gaps, won't he? Good body shots from Parker, complaining they're a bit low, Cojanu.
Yeah, you're right. I think Joseph Parker will be quite happy that Cojanu's coming back with shots, because the openings will come. But this is starting to become quite a frustrating evening for Parker, this.
Certainly is. We wonder what Anthony Joshua, Tony Bellew, and the others are thinking of the Parker performance against this late substitute. He meant to blow them away. Sometimes it's not as easy as that. Needs the victory, Parker, more than anything. Cojanu, what will he have to offer in the second half of this? Not winning the rounds. Let's find out how Dylan's seen. And Charles Martin, and of course Joseph Parker in a couple of counts before Dimitrenko, and before this one he was meant to fight Hughie Fury. How difficult, Darren, as a former fighter, is it when you get that last-minute switch and it's someone totally different? Although he's sparred with him, there's nothing like being in the ring for real.
No, of course not. I mean, it does completely mess up your plans and your preparation. But ultimately, when that first bell goes, it's a fight, and you're trained to get the job done, and that's what we're looking for Parker to do here. I mean, it is very frustrating, but when you look at what is out there for Parker, I mean, he really does need to get the job done, and in good fashion.
People were saying he's the next coming, Joseph Parker. I think the Carlos Takam fight just made one or two in the trade reconsider. Takam very tough and strong, but could have won that. And you know, many felt Andy Ruiz was unlucky. Very tight on the cards. I know Top Rank felt that he won, and the height machine is one thing. But Parker's got to prove it. Now he is the WBO champion.
I mean, you could also, I mean, there's question marks flagged on Parker's power. I mean, he looks very explosive, a huge puncher against lesser opposition, but when you put him in with the likes of Carlos Takam, Ruiz, and now Cojanu, his power's questioned. He's landed a couple of times here, yes, glancing blows, but he's not hurt Cojanu at all.
And you've got to say Cojanu's slow, has been knocked out before, has only had a couple of weeks, you know, to prepare for a world heavyweight title fight. Many will be saying Joseph Parker should have found a way to stop Cojanu by now.
There's not a lot coming back from Cojanu. I mean, as far as trying to win rounds, he's, you know, big, slow, single shots, slow 1-2s. Really frustrating Parker more than actually letting his own shots go and trying to win rounds.
The physical size of him, the bulk. I thought there was a couple of moments in the Takam encounter that Parker just seemed tired. I'm sure his corner won't want Cojanu just hanging around for 12 rounds in case something like that could happen. It's all Parker, though, on the front foot when he gets his combinations going. You know, he's winning the rounds, no problem.
But Cojanu taking them. Took a big right hand there, wasn't phased at all. And
Here comes a cropper here, all the big, you know, clashes with Joshua and Wilder go flying out of the window. But how are you assessing Parker, thinking about Tony Bellew and Dylan White lining up?
I would love to see those guys in with Parker, and I give them a huge chance against him. I mean, it's a difficult one to judge Parker on this, but when you look back at his career so far, there has been the times where he's failed to impress. The one plus he does have, and that huge bonus, is that he is the WBO champion. So if he does win, like you say, and in not great fashion, he's still got the big fights out there, because you talk about these guys wanting to unify. He has something that they want.
Good body shots from Parker. One back from Cojanu, who's throwing so few punches he can't possibly be taking any of these rounds, but most predicted an early blowout for Parker. It hasn't happened.
Yeah, Cojanu not winning the rounds. Parker pretty comfortable, though he's looked frustrated. I'd like to see him just up the tempo a bit more, go through the gears. Again,
Cojanu talks to Parker in there. We saw Joshua doing that with Klitschko the other night. It does look a bit chalk and cheese, though, to what we had at Wembley in terms of quality.
Yeah, without a doubt. This is way off. I mean, it really is way off, but again, the fortunate thing for Parker is he's managed to win that WBO title, so he had something the guys want.
Just delivered a couple of body shots there, Cojanu. And Parker on the back foot. If the Romanian's fit enough and can stay out the rounds here, Parker's going to have to make sure there's plenty in the tank. No danger of that at the moment. He's still firing out the punches.
It's never nice being walked down by the bigger guy. You see there, he's almost looking to hold there, Parker. But if you're Cojanu and you're saying you're doing it for your family and it's your big chance, you've just got to start letting some more shots go. I mean, he's at the stage now, he's got to where he is midway through the fight.
He's cocking that right hand, Cojanu. Is he just thinking, I'm going to stay this out for a bit. I'm going to let Parker unload his pretty combinations, and I'm just going to go for it with a couple of big shots at some stage. Maybe that's the tactics.
I don't think Cojanu has the tempo or the speed to do that.
He's certainly not got the speed, but at heavyweight, we know they can all punch, even though he's only got...
Standing strong, he's just not winning the rounds at all.
8th round, first defense of his WBO heavyweight title. Joseph Parker beat Andy Ruiz just before Christmas in the Spark Arena in Auckland, and in this Vodafone Event Centre took out Alexander Dimitrenko. Unbeaten, never in any real trouble, Joseph Parker, throughout his pro career so far. Lost rounds against Andy Ruiz, but found a way, and he's dominating here against this big, slow Razvan Cojanu, who's just proven an absolute nuisance for Parker. The question is there any chance of Cojanu still upsetting the odds?
I don't think so, Adam. There's nothing there, really. I mean, he hasn't got the speed, he hasn't got the tempo, it doesn't seem like he has the big punch. So to worry Parker, the only thing he has in his favour is he's able to frustrate Parker.
Has it become a bit of a sparring session like they've enjoyed in the past?
Exactly what I was thinking, Adam. It seems that way. It's just the quicker hands, the movement of Parker, and the slow, cumbersome movement of Cojanu. It's looking that way.
He hasn't managed to hurt him, Parker. And Donovan Dennis blew him away. Remember that right hand?
Huge shot, huge punch. Timed beautifully, big overhand right it was. Put Cojanu to sleep. Parker's got to try and find one of those himself. Again, I'll say it, I mean, he's very fortunate, lucky. I would say fortunate, it's a bonus he's got that WBO title already, because I'm not sure if he's a big enough draw on the world scene to warrant a big fight.
It's just that WBO strap that he's got. And you wonder if Hughie Fury hadn't had that back injury, how he might be faring on this night.
Do you know what? Watching this performance, and we know exactly what Parker's gone through, change of opponent, etc. But if Hughie Fury was to have fought this Parker, I would have given him a huge chance. And I mean, if I'm at home and I'm Tony Bellew, I'm picking up the phone and calling Eddie and asking for this fight desperately.
I think Dylan White, I think Tony Bellew, I think everybody will be onto Eddie Hearn to get Joe Parker to the UK. Cojanu beating his heart and saying, come on then. Parker with a nifty combination. Still quality punches at time from the New Zealand man. And as I said, never really in any bother in notching up the round. So you've got to say he's at the moment, you know, successfully defending this title. Who's keeping it watchable at times, because Joe Parker, while winning these rounds, has certainly not been setting anything alight.
Well, Adam, before the fight started, we did not envision it going 9 rounds, that's for sure. Cojanu played his part. He's been awkward, playing mind games, constantly talking to Parker throughout. but when you think of ambition on his side, I mean, this was his chance, or this is his chance to become world heavyweight champion. He's just not done enough, and I don't know if it's, he just doesn't have it in his locker.
Probably doesn't have it in his locker, and also thought he's such an underdog that just getting through this would lead to, you know, future paydays, possibly, you know, as an opponent. But you've got that opportunity, and they don't come around that often, to fight for the world heavyweight title against a Joseph Parker who doesn't look a beast. He doesn't look, you know, enormously heavy-handed, and Cojanu just not going for it.
Do you know what, Adam? It's what I said there. He just can't. He just doesn't have the ability to be able to force any questions, really. And it's a shame on both parts, because the division is absolutely booming. And you would just think he would throw more, try and load up with a big right hand, mix it up a bit more. He's just not done that.
That's good from Parker, doubling up with the jab, way out with the uppercut. Back comes Cojanu, trying to walk down the champion, but not throwing the punches to win him the fight. Can't give him a round, can you?
No, you can't. And there's also a 10-8 round in there when the point was deducted. Parker there was a look of frustration. But again, I'll say it, he is the WBO champion. People want that belt, so there's big fights out there for him. He's just not impressed at all here.
And he might have been really flat when he found the Fury fight went. That's who he was training for. In comes a sparring partner. Yeah, tough mentally maybe to motivate yourself, but he did say beforehand that he wanted to give his beloved New Zealand people the perfect goodbye present. He has to ship a shot there from Cojanu, who just again tries to lean on him and frustrate and infuriate Joe Parker. He's going walkabouts, Parker. Getting ugly and messy. And not, but last weekend, and expecting more here.
100%, and no one will be expecting more than Parker himself. He knows he's better than this. For whatever reason, hasn't performed this evening, but getting the job done, winning the rounds, winning the fight comfortably. Maybe he's got an eye on one of the other title holders. Thinking of the big money shots out there. I mean, it's been comfortable, this. He's been frustrated at times, but he's winning easy. I mean, he could be guilty of thinking of other fights. It has been that easy at times.
He's just seemed flat, really, after the first couple, where I thought he might try and explode and get on top of Cojanu early and hurt him. He's let the heavy Romanian just stay there. Looking a bit like Nikolai Valoev, you know, that sort of huge size and cumbersome and slow, but, you know, strong and tough. Yeah, you do look back at Donovan Dennis, the knockout, though.
You do. And I think that's another reason Parker would be so frustrated, that he's not been able to land that shot of his own. And though he has caught Cojanu, he's not managed to hurt him at all. And if we switch the attention to Cojanu, and you think to yourself, look, we've already said it, you've got a chance to become heavyweight champion of the world.
But Darren, he's coming off wins over Grover Young, a journeyman, Christian Martinez, who'd lost all three, Zi Wu in China. Yeah, and he's challenging for a world title. It's an enormous step up for Cojanu to be even sharing a ring with Parker for real here. He just isn't good enough.
Well, that's the problem. He's just not good enough. But you'd like to just throw everything in there with the opportunity of becoming champion. But like you say, you're right, he's just not good enough. And this hasn't been pretty at all. I mean, like you said earlier, a few rounds back, it is almost like a sparring session. But it will be job done for Parker and on to the next.
And Eddie Hearn and Tony Bellew And Dylan White and Anthony Joshua, if he is even watching this, will not be losing any sleep at all. Parker continuing to utilise every bit of the ring now, keeping out of the way of the huge Romanian, sprinkling him with shots when he can, in and out. And I guess at the beginning of the night, you take that at the end to still be a world champion. You forget the 36 minutes of action, or really lack of it, Darren.
Yeah, this will soon leave the memory. It's been a tough fight, but it's been a successful defense, if you like, unless some miracle does happen and Cojanu can find a big shot here, which I can't see happening because he's just not quick enough. There's no element of surprise there, and just doesn't have it in the locker. Though he landed the right hand there, Parker was leaning back. There's another guy we haven't mentioned, Luis Ortiz. I mean, a great fighter in a division, who's another one watching on who would love this.
Yep, undefeated. Good jab from Parker there. You can see some quality. He's got tools, he's got ability. Can he do it at the top level? WBO champion. Talking about unifications. I'll put you on the spot here. Will Dylan White beat Joe Parker?
There's a very good chance, and I would put White favourite. I would, just because Dylan's awkward. He's been in there and he's confident. I think he's got a lot of confidence from the Anthony Joshua fight, and he believes in himself. And I'd give him a good crack, and as I do Tony Bellew.
He believes in himself, he believes he's the best heavyweight in the world.
There you go, there you go.
Great to have that, and I'm sure Joshua would love another fight with White at some point. So many great ones to happen. Will Vladimir Klitschko take the rematch? We wait and see. Deontay Wilder is right there. Tyson Fury, of course, could come back to the fold. That'll be terrific if he can get the weight off and deal with issues out of the ring. Cojanu coming towards the end of the 12th round. I bet in his heart of hearts, he really didn't think he'd see this.
No, nor did we. And the frustrating thing is, he's starting to let his punches go in the last round, and you think to yourself, could have done that earlier, could have something amazing happened.
It's been a survival job, really, for Cojanu. It's been pretty negative in the fact that I don't think he really ever fancied taking Parker out, or maybe he just couldn't. Parker on the move now, and boxing his way home.
He's in sparring mode. I mean, he couldn't shake it off. It's a shame. Though he hasn't had it in his locker, he's just not been able to shake off that sparring partner mode he's got into.
Yep, two former sparring partners giving us that, really, on the big stage. We hope for more, and Joe Parker tries to finish with a few combinations to remind the crowd and us what he's capable of, and finally gets through to the chin of Cojanu, who wants to fight more.
Welcome guys, thanks for joining me again in this update. I hope you're all well. Okay guys, so Joseph Parker's fight against Razvan Cojanu took place on May 6, 2017 in Manukau City, located in the district of Auckland, New Zealand. This bout was significant for Parker as it was his first defense of the WBO World Heavyweight title, which he had won in December 2016 against Andy Ruiz Jr. In my opinion, Ruiz won that fight, but Parker was given a gift by the judges. In any case, Parker was supposed to defend his title against Hughie Fury, but Fury pulled out due to an injury. Razvan Cojanu was brought in as a replacement and had actually been a sparring partner for Parker. So as you just saw, the fight went the full 12 rounds, with Parker winning by unanimous decision. Overall, the fight against Razvan Cojanu was an important learning experience for Parker, because in the pro ranks, it is important for you to entertain and deliver in your performance. In this prizefighter sport, your fans pay to watch you perform, and as much as they would like to see you win, they also want the promise of a more definitive performance against less heralded opponents. No knockout here, but a points win and on to the next. Like always, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Anyway guys, that's all for now. I really hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Please remember to smash the like button if you have enjoyed watching this particular update. Remember to leave a comment in the comment section if you want to add anything about Joseph Parker. So until my next one, peace out.